Well, Holy Talisman Tianzuan sighed, which also made Lin Moyu's heart sink to the bottom. This era is indeed difficult, and the world is about to end. Lin Moyu couldn't help but want to ask Tianzuan, why did you Tianzuan all run away? You are all so shameless and don't even want your own home. But he failed to say such words in the end. Holy Talisman Tianzuan looked at Lin Moyu. Do you know why there are only 100 divine roads? Lin Moyu shook his head. How could he know such a thing? I'm afraid no one in this world can answer this question. Holy Talisman Tianzuan said, because we can only build 100 sacred roads. Lin Moyu was stunned on the spot. He could only build 100 sacred roads, so how could he pay for it? Why? Lin Moyu couldn't help but ask, is there anything special about divine roads? Why can only 100 of them be built? Holy Talisman Tianzuan said, you should have seen the Great World Runes. The Great World Runes are divided into hundreds of sub-runes. Each sub-rune represents a law, an avenue, and also represents a divine path. Although there are thousands of avenues, there are also 3,000 avenues, and 3 of them represent infinity. But in the final analysis, there are only 100 avenues. The path of cultivation ultimately leads to the same destination through different paths. No matter which path you take, you will eventually converge at the Great World Rune, which is the source of this world. There are hundreds of avenues, some are strong and some are weak, but as long as you keep moving forward, you will eventually have the opportunity to touch the great world culture. It's a pity that now, the divine path has been cut off, and it can no longer be touched. Lin Moyu asked, is there any other way? Holy Talisman Tianzuan laughed loudly, of course there is, how could there be no other way? There is no absolute road. In our big world, at the beginning, there was only one divine road. Advertisement. The 99 divine roads that followed were all built up bit by each deity and supreme one. Of course you can also build a divine road, and there is more than one way. Lin Moyu asked immediately, pay back what Qian Ming said. Every soul of Holy Talisman Tianzuan has its own personality. The one in Xuanqing Secret Realm is irritable, the one in the previous inheritance is a bit straightforward, and the one who was killed by him before is irritable. The one in front of me is long-winded, quite long-winded. Lin Moyu has actually learned about the method of building a new divine path from the mysterious master. Now that the long-winded deity is willing to say it, he will listen again to confirm the two facts. Holy Talisman Tianzuan said, the first method is to find a Tianzuan or a peak supreme person to tear down the damaged divine road, and then you can re-establish it in the original place. The second method is to find a way to let the big world runes evolve into the 101st Avenue rune, then you can build a new rune. The third method is that you can build a divine road directly to the runes of the big world, but that is too difficult and we have never done it. There are 3 methods, you can choose one yourself. Lin Moyu asked, the second method is how to evolve the great world runes into new Dao runes. Holy Talisman Tianzuan said, swallow other worlds and plunder the origin of the world. Lin Moyu finally understood how the hundreds of great world runes came from. They were all obtained by plundering other worlds. Lin Moyu couldn't help but fell into deep thought. No wonder Huanwu Tianzuan said that the cause and effect of the big world itself is too heavy, plundering so many things, and leaving the creatures in those worlds unkilled. Cause and effect naturally accumulate and become heavier, and the most important principles are difficult to carry out until the world of heaven collapses. But now the big world is extremely weak. If we encounter other worlds, unless they are very weak, it will be a disaster for the big world. Holy Talisman Tianzuan said, now you understand. Lin Moyu nodded, thank you, Senior, for your guidance. I will try my best at the party. Holy Talisman Tianzuan said, the fact that you can obtain the inheritance from me proves that your qualifications, luck, and talents are all perfect. I don't know what that person said to you or what his goal is, but I can tell you that if things are not feasible, you should make the right choice. The ultimate possibility lies in my inheritance. I hope you can get it. It's a pity that such a great world has been ruined by guys like us. Advertisement. We are ashamed of this world. With a sigh, the holy talisman Tianzuan disappeared into the starry sky. When he disappeared, Lin Moyu felt desolate. The sigh is full of helplessness, reluctance, and helplessness. Lin Moyu has been in contact with Xingfu Tianzuan many times and found that his personality is different every time. I don't know who is the real holy talisman Heavenly Lord. At least he knew the 3 ways to build a new divine road from the mouth of the Holy Lord Tianzuan, and then cooperated with the mysterious master's specific method and required materials to build a new divine road. Finally, I had a complete idea of how to build a new divine path. Outside the secret realm, everyone has been waiting for many days, but no one has started this round of competition. Everyone is waiting for a result, and everyone has a tacit understanding. Even the human emperor network fell into silence, as if even it was waiting. Finally, the entrance to the secret realm changed. The vortex that was spinning slowly suddenly stopped. This change immediately caught everyone's attention. Under the gaze of tens of thousands of pairs of eyes, the vortex quickly collapsed. After just a few seconds, there was no trace of the vortex in the starry sky. The secret realm is gone. Where the secret realm originally was, only Lin Moyu stood alone. He stepped on the Law Galaxy, like a king above the Law Galaxy, looking down at everyone in the starry sky. An indescribable nobility spreads over Lin Moyu. At this moment, everyone had the illusion that they were inferior to Lin Moyu. They have the Law Galaxy above them and they are below the Law Galaxy. Lin Moyu stepped on the Law Galaxy under his feet. Advertisement. It is self-evident which of the two is higher and which is lower. It's gone, the secret realm has disappeared. The mysterious realm of wood is just gone, and he actually cleared the secret realm. How did he do it? What kind of combat power is this? Impossible, it's impossible to clear the mysterious wooden realm. Countless voices resounded in the starry sky. Some were amazed, some were disbelieving, some were questioning, and there were all kinds of voices. Some people wanted to ask Lin Moyu, but Yu Chengfeng was one step ahead of them and stopped everyone. Yu Chengfeng whispered, "Sir, I'm not awake yet. Please don't disturb me. If you have any questions, I'll ask you later." He saw that Lin Moyu was in a different state, so he stopped everyone. There are many peak deities present, and Yu Chengfeng is not the strongest, but he is a member of the Yu family. You don't have to give him face, but you have to give Mrs. Yu face. Hello no, these gods also noticed that Lin Moyu was in a different state, and they all stopped. At this time, a ray of light appeared out of thin air and fell on Lin Moyu. The power of the human emperor network increased sharply, and Tianxin came into reality. It isolates Lin Moyu from anyone disturbing the shop. Lin Moyu's eyes were slightly closed at this time. When the secret realm collapsed, he simultaneously received the information from the human emperor network. Please answer, has the mysterious realm disappeared? Please describe in detail your experience in the Mu mysterious realm. This time, Renhuang Network did not get any information about Lin Moyu's trip to the secret realm. Nothing like this has ever happened since the emergence of Renhuang Network. Not only the gods are curious, but also the human emperor network is curious about what happened in the secret realm. Regarding the inheritance of Holy Talisman Tianzuan, Lin Moyu did not hide it. Several saints who originally worked for it knew it, and the human emperor network also knew it. Soon Renhuang Network got the correct answer and knew what happened in the secret realm. A Divine City announcement quickly appeared, shocking the world again. Announcement from Divine City, Senior Staff Lin Moyu has successfully cleared the mysterious Wood Realm. A huge announcement from the Divine City appeared on the Human Emperor's network. The news spread quickly to all the Divine City. All the gods outside the secret realm received the information from the Human Emperor network at the same time. Wood Mystery Land has been permanently closed. It was only then that those doubts completely disappeared. All the gods present, one by one, looked at Lin Moyu in disbelief. Anyone's words can be doubted, but what Renhuang Network says is unquestionable. Ever since the emergence of Renhuang Network, there has been no nonsense. Lin Moyu slowly opened his eyes and glanced at the gods. Seniors, I'm sorry. Someone raised his hand and asked, Little friend Lin, have you obtained the great god cow? Lin Moyu admitted openly, that's right. He opened his palms, and on his palms, a crystal-clear wood god flower composed of 12 petals was slowly rotating. The fragrance spread in the starry sky, and everyone felt their souls shaken, feeling refreshed. Almost all the high-level gods have seen the wood god cow, and their eyes show envy. They also want cow, the wood god, but they can't get it no matter how hard they try. There was a hint of greed in some people's eyes, but it was immediately wiped away. They knew that anyone who wanted to snatch Mushin Cow from Lin Moyu was seeking death. A peat god asked, Xiao Yu Lin, how did you obtain the king of wooden flower 323? Lin Moyu said, I have told Renhuang Network about the specific method. If you want to know, go back to Huang Network and check it out. Advertisement. Someone immediately contacted the Human Emperor Network to check. This information is open to all gods, and there is no charge. The Moon Mystic Realm is gone, how can we still charge for it? After checking the information, all the gods showed confusion on their faces. They never expected that this would be the result. Wrong, we were all wrong. Originally there were 2 ways to obtain the wood god flower in the secret realm, but we both used the wrong method. It's not that we used the wrong method, it's that we never found the right method. Many gods present seemed to be shocked. After reading the guide to the secret realm, they realized that the methods they used before were all wrong. Looking for the wood god flower in the secret realm is not a matter of luck at all, but there is a correct method. In the low-level and intermediate-level difficulties, the secret realm gave clear instructions, but no one ever discovered it. When it comes to high-level difficulty, rune elements are added to the secret realm, and combat prowess is tested at the same time. If you are not a talisman master, you will definitely not be able to decipher the secret realm. If you only use time to pile up, the result is self-evident, it is impossible to obtain the wood god cow. And, you have to clear the level 10 times in a row. Lin Moyu's previous highest record was 4 times, not even half of it. The gap is too big. Lin Moyu asked, do you have any questions? Someone thought for a moment and asked, Little friend Lin, Mogami Cow, are you planning to sell? Lin Moyu shook his head, I don't plan to. Hearing Lin Moyu's answer, the gods were also slightly disappointed. They have been cultivating for many years and have a lot of money. If Lin Moyu really wants to sell, they can give a very high price. However, Lin Moyu didn't want to sell and couldn't force it. Lin Moyu put away the wood god cow. He has not yet decided whether to absorb the wood god cow directly or plant it and wait to harvest the magic flower. Advertisement. No matter which kind, he will not sell the wood god flower. Lin Moyu does not lack the merits of the divine city at all, and the merits of the divine city are of little use to him. The level he is at is completely different from ordinary gods. Seeing that no one asked any more questions, Lin Moyu said to Yu Chengfeng, Senior Chengfeng, if I still have something to do, I will take the first step and see you again in the future. Yu Chengfeng cupped his hands and said, Sir, have a good trip. I will remember this kindness. Lin Moyu smiled slightly, threw the battleship and turned into a stream of light and left. When he disappeared, Yu Chengfeng received a message from Lin Moyu's soul, Senior Chengfeng, if you return to the Yu family, help me take care of Yuzu girl. Lin Moyu flew a certain distance on the battleship and quickly entered deep space. The battleship sailed aimlessly in deep space, moving very slowly. Lin Moyu sat in the battleship and began to check the inheritance of the inheritance pearl, while also summarizing the harvest. This trip to Mu Mysterious Realm has been very rewarding. The first line is a deeper understanding of runes, which can not only be fused, but also split. The runes after being split can also retain their original functions. Moreover, the split runes can be combined with each other. In this way, the ways in which runes can be combined into runes become diverse. Lin Moyu once saw some extremely complex talisman formations in ancient battlefields. I still couldn't understand it at the time, but now that I think about it, the runes in the array were dismantled and scrambled. The talisman array combined in this way will become stronger. In addition to learning how to split runes, I also discovered ways to fine-tune runes to make my own runes more perfect. The more perfect the rune is, the stronger the effect will be, and the power will increase no matter what it is used for. The stronger the foundation, the stronger the house built. Advertisement. These two gains alone make the trip worthwhile, let alone other gains. Wood God Cow, this is a valuable treasure. If you use it yourself, your soul can be raised to a higher level. After thinking about it, Lin Moyu decided to keep it and use it later. If your soul can successfully break through to the peak of the saint, then you can borrow the power of Cow, the god of wood, to hit the supreme realm. Wood God Cow is only effective for souls under the supreme realm, and it can also be used to attack the supreme realm. Once the supreme realm is reached, the Wood God Cow will be useless. The information in the inheritance pearl is coming continuously, and the amount of information is not very large. It contains this method of splitting runes. In addition, the split runes are used to arrange the runes. There are all kinds of talisman formations from simple to difficult. Shengfu Tianzuan gave many examples for Lin Moyu to refer to. Lin Moyu discovered that the inheritance of Holy Talisman Tianzuan can be divided into several stages. What the Yunwu sect received was the first stage, which passed down the largest amount of knowledge. It contained information about all the runes, as well as a detailed explanation of the way of the runes and a detailed explanation of each rune. The amount of information was so huge that it almost overwhelmed my soul at the time. In the second stage, in the treasure ship secret realm, Holy Talisman God taught Lin Moyu how to repair runes, create rune warehouses, and use runes to create ancient warriors. In the third stage, in the mysterious realm of Xuanqing, Lin Moyu obtained the Inheritance Talisman, which is a magical rune created by the Holy Talisman. At the same time, in order to prove the power of the runes, the Holy Talisman also prepared the inheritance of a supreme law of starlight. The fourth stage is the Mu Mysterious Realm, where Lin Moyu learned how to split the runes and how to use the split runes to form an array to make the array more powerful. At the same time, he also realized on his own how to optimize the runes, as well as the rare treasure, the Wood God Cow. It has to be said that Sheng Dai Tian is very sincere to his inheritors. Test again and again, reward again and again, inheritance again and again. Holy Talisman Heavenly Master uses his own method to teach his descendants how to correctly learn and use runes. Now, Lin Moyu has begun to formally learn to split runes and use the split runes to arrange arrays. Only by completing the most difficult talisman formation in this inheritance can you get the information of the next inheritance. There are 10 talisman arrays in total, from easy to difficult, one set linked to another. Splitting the runes and then crossing them to form a rune array is a very rigorous project. After reading it, Lin Moyu began to split the runes according to the method in the Heritage Pearl. Where can it be dismantled, where cannot it be dismantled, and how can the runes continue to maintain their original function after being dismantled? With his extremely precise control ability and extremely keen soul, Lin Moyu quickly mastered the correct method of splitting runes. Splitting runes is extremely difficult for others, but Lin Moyu quickly mastered it without spending too much time. Moreover, he knows everything from one method to all. He doesn't just follow the same pattern, but learns and uses it flexibly. He can quickly master the division method of each rune. Now you can tell at a glance which runes can be dismantled and how to dismantle them. After being dismantled, whether the runes will maintain their original function or become weaker. After mastering the method of splitting runes, I officially started to use the split runes to lay out the rune array. This is the beginning of the real difficulty. Even in ancient times, not every talisman master could master this method. Using the split runes to combine with each other to form an array can make the integration of the runes closer, truly becoming a pattern where you are in me and I am in you. After the formation is finally set up, it will become stronger and stronger. Lin Moyu keeps learning and mastering, forgetting time and not caring where he is going. After sailing in deep space for a while, the battleship naturally returned to surface space and continued to fly aimlessly. In the silent starry sky, a battleship flew slowly past. Occasionally, an astonishing aura will erupt from the battleship. Most of the time, the battleship is like a pool of stagnant water, without any movement. After the Bronze Lizard clan was wiped out, the human race directly killed the Pegasus clan. This battle lasted for a while. The human race first dispatched thousands of gods to launch a fierce attack on the Tianma tribe. The Pegasus clan seemed to have anticipated that the human clan would take action and launched a strong defense from the beginning. All the defensive formations that can be activated are activated, and the army has already been mobilized to block the entire starry sky in the star field. The human race encountered resistance from the Pegasus tribe, and the Pegasus tribe was far behind the human race in terms of strength. Advertisement. However, the defense they prepared in advance still hindered the human race's attack and delayed a lot of time. The War Saint is presiding over this battle. In the state of space blockade, he is worried that after the army goes deep, there will be a sneak attack from the rear. So he ordered the army to slow down the attack, and at the same time sent the news back to the human race, asking for reinforcements. The nearest human army immediately took action, eliminating worries for the gods of the Temple of War. After such a delay, the gods of the Temple of War did not attack with all their strength, and the advancement speed was extremely slow. The Tianma clan took advantage of this time to ask for help from the nearby clans. It is true that several races sent people to support, but the impact was not big. Facing the strength of the human race, the support of these small races is meaningless. This situation did not change until the gods of the Golden Eagle clan came to support them. The Golden Eagle clan is a powerful clan, and this time they also dispatched thousands of gods to cooperate with the Tianma clan to resist the human gods. More than a dozen tribes, large and small, were tied together and had a fierce battle with the human god on the front line. The advancement of the human race was once again blocked and even stopped. Just when the Pegasus tribe thought that the human race would give up and retreat, the body of the Pegasus tribe leader suddenly appeared on the battlefield. Shashengzuan sneaked into the Tianma clan and assassinated the Tianma clan leader. For the Tianma clan, the killing of their clan leader was like a bolt from the blue. The structure of this race is different from that of the human race. The patriarch is not only the core of power, but also the spiritual core. When the clan leader died, the Tianma clan almost collapsed. It was at this time that reinforcements from the human race arrived, led by the hot-tempered sword master. According to the news that came out later, the sword master cut through the galaxy with just one sword, completely destroying the confidence of the Tianma clan. That sword forcefully tore apart the defense line established by the Tianma clan, leaving a galaxy of sword energy in the starry sky that was difficult to heal. After that, the human race god turned on his full strength and fought his way in. Advertisement. 1,000,000 troops are behind to prevent others from attacking from the rear. The Tianma clan wants to release the space blockade and activate the teleportation array to escape. It was only then that they discovered that the space had been blocked by the human race in reverse, and they could not escape even if they wanted to. The Golden Eagle clan couldn't do anything, and finally withdrew their team. Once the Golden Eagle clan leaves, it also heralds the complete doom of the Pegasus clan. The entire battle lasted for more than 3 months, and the Pegasus tribe was finally wiped out by the humans just like the Bronze Lizard tribe. Perhaps some of the Pegasus tribe members escaped and ascended to heaven, but the starry sky was so vast that it was difficult to find a place to stay. Their only way out is outside the territory. A ray of sword energy cut through the starry sky and turned into a bright galaxy. After several months, the sword energy still persists and the galaxy is still brilliant. The Sword Saint's sword was extremely brilliant. He killed hundreds of gods with one sword and tore apart the Pegasus clan's defense. Several saints with powerful auras appeared in the starry sky. They came from different races and appeared here at the same time. Demon Clan, Golden Eagle Clan, Bull Demon Clan. 0. Please give me flowers. The three saints looked at the Sword Chi Galaxy together and felt the majestic power of the Sword Chi Galaxy. Very strong. We have reached the peak of the Holy Lord and are only half a step away from the legendary realm. Although you and I both know that this half step is insurmountable, we have to admit that the human race's sword master's combat power has reached the top of the other side. I am not as good as her. I need at least 3 of them to fight against her. The Sword Saint is not the strongest saint in the human race. There are at least 2 people who are comparable to him. The human race is indeed far stronger than us. Okay, we have finished reading Sword Chi Galaxy. We should discuss the business. How do you plan to treat the human race? It's going to be difficult this time. Advertisement. It can be seen from the Sword Energy Galaxy left by the Sword Saint that the combat power of the Sword Saint has reached the top of the other side. Several saints all know that among the human race, the strongest ones are the Heavenly Saint and the War Saint. 0. Wu Xingzuan and Sword Saint are next, and Killing Saint is 1 level behind. As for the newly promoted Fu Xingzuan, because he is a newly promoted saint, his combat power is not much better. Maybe he is not as good as Killing Saint. They are both holy masters, but their strength is also very different. For an ordinary saint, several people would have to join forces to fight against a being like the War Saint. Now the Sword Master's combat power has reached the peak of his opponent, which is not a good thing for all races. They know very well that the most important thing in the race war is the showdown between the top combat forces. Once upon a time when the human race was about to perish, Xiao Zhantian emerged from the sky and defeated all races with the power of 1 man. This is the power of top combat power. They began to discuss how to deal with the human race. The human race is obviously determined to take revenge, and they don't know when they will stop. A perfect countermeasure must be discussed and dealt with. Lin Moyu's battleship floated in the starry sky for a whole year. Lin Moyu continued to split the runes and arrange the arrays, experimenting again and again, failing again and again, summarizing again and again, experimenting again, and the cycle continued. Since coming into contact with the runes, Lin Moyu has suffered from medical problems. Occasional failures will not affect your mood, but will arouse your desire for challenge. It is not difficult to split the runes, and it is not difficult to form a rune array, but when they are combined together, the difficulty increases several times. According to what Holy Talisman Tianzuan said, if you can learn how to split runes within 100 years, mastering the cross formation in China will be considered qualified. It only took him a few days to master the rune splitting. Now a year has passed, and he has mastered the rune formation 9 times out of 10. This kind of talent, even I feel a little abnormal. Lin Moyu remembered something Xingzuan Fu said to him. At that time, Xingzuan Fu said that he was born for runes. Lin Moyu didn't feel much at that time, but now, Lin Moyu feels that Fu Xingzuan is right. He didn't know how much time Holy Talisman Tianzuan spent back then, learning to split runes and form complex runes into complex talisman arrays. But he felt that Holy Talisman Tianzuan would not be faster than him. Finally, the last rune was dismantled, and 1 rune was split into 3 parts. It seemed that the rune had fallen apart, but it still maintained its original function. Lin Moyu uses soul power to maintain the runes. Then he tapped his fingers and pushed the dismantled runes into a rune array. 3 scattered rune fragments entered different areas of the rune array. The soul bond is still not broken. Not only is it not broken, but the talisman formation is also combined together. The talisman array was originally composed of dismantled runes, and they were all connected to each other with soul power, 26-inch. When the last rune entered, the rune array suddenly became complete. Not only the dismantled runes can be combined with each other to form new runes. Moreover, the soul powers are intertwined with each other, which greatly strengthens this connection. For a time, the talisman array became ever-changing. The talisman array was activated, and with a strong roar, the talisman array suddenly shrank, and all the dismantled runes were combined together to form a 3-dimensional complex rune. Lin Moyu stretched out his hand and sucked the rune into his palm, observing it carefully. The three-dimensional runes should belong to the category of ancient talismans, but it is a talisman array, not an ancient talisman. Lin Moyu naturally knows that not only ancient runes can be three-dimensional, but some complex runes can also be three-dimensional. Like the runes of the law of time and the law of space, they are basically three-dimensional. At the same time, some talisman arrays can also be three-dimensional. At this time, the talisman array in his palm is just like this, and there is still 3 points of ancient talisman aura. Advertisement. The function of this talisman array is to contain it. It has its own space inside, and its name is also called the containment array. When used on the enemy, it traps the enemy. If you use it on yourself, it will give you shelter. When used on objects, it means to accommodate. The internal space of the containment talisman array is so huge that Lin Moyu feels that a galaxy can fit inside it. And once this talisman array is activated, it can be hidden, making it very secretive and difficult to discover. Previously, the second soul of the holy talisman Tianzuan was contained and hidden with a similar talisman array. Of course, Tianzuan's method was far better than his own. Holy talisman Tianzuan has thought of almost everything that can be considered. Lin Moyu looked at the talisman array, his eyes brighter and brighter. So that's it, I understand. He suddenly realized something. Why can those ancient symbols of holy talisman Tianzuan, even if they are broken into pieces, still exist independently and even evolve into secret realms? But the ancient talisman mastered by Fu Xingzuan does not have this ability, and it will fall apart if it falls apart. Before, he had always believed that the holy talisman Heavenly Lord was at a higher level, so there was such a difference. Now he finally understands that the root cause is not due to different realms. The root cause is the different methods of drawing ancient symbols. Holy Lord Tianzuan used the method of splitting runes in the ancient talisman. It looks like a complete ancient talisman, but in fact it is composed of countless split runes inside. These split runes can be combined into ancient runes and runes, or they can exist independently. Moreover, the holy talisman Tianzuan dismantled the runes very loosely. Perhaps a tongue talisman could be broken into tens of thousands of fragments. Each seemingly scattered fragment can exist independently, which leads to the collapse of the ancient talisman but not annihilation. The Heavenly Lord is worthy of being a Heavenly Lord, and it is indeed beyond my reach at the moment. After all, Lin Moyu knew that he was not yet capable of doing these things. Advertisement. However, after mastering the method of splitting runes, he gained a deeper understanding of the remaining runes in the ancient battlefield. Lin Moyu's mind returned and he woke up. The talisman array in the palm of his hand continued to glow. Lin Moyu took out the inheritance pearl given by the holy talisman Heavenly Lord and threw it into the talisman king. The pearl suddenly erupted with intense light, and a rune on the pearl lit up, echoing Lin Moyu's rune array. Lin Moyu knew that this was the means left by the holy talisman Tianzuan, and it could only be activated with this talisman array. The inheritance pearl was completely activated, and the information entered Lin Moyu's mind. Then the inheritance pearl turned into powder and completely dissipated. Lin Moyu looked at the content of the message with a strange look on his face. This inheritance is outside the territory? Lin Moyu thought that holy talisman Tianzuan placed all the inheritance in the Divine City Star territory. After all, the ancient warriors fell in the Divine City Star territory at that time. So many secret realms in the Divine City Star territory are transformed from the ancient talismans of ancient warriors, and they are also the most suitable places for the layout of the holy talisman Heavenly Lord. Unexpectedly, holy talisman Tianzuan placed a piece of inheritance outside the territory. It's impossible to guess what Tianzuan is thinking. Then let's take a trip. Fortunately, it's not too far. But before we go there, let's go to the ancient battlefield first. Lin Moyu had a plan in mind. He wanted to go to the ancient battlefield to take another look at the incomplete talisman array. With his current understanding of runes, he might be able to see some more clues. Lin Moyu has never forgotten the ancient battlefield, where there is a suspected existence of the Xinxia Tower, and the Xinxia Tower is related to Meng Anwen. Lin Moyu wanted to know what was going on. He couldn't go back to the small world, and Antares didn't come out for the time being. The whole thing is like a huge mystery, shrouded all the time, making it difficult for people to see clearly. Lin Moyu checked the star map and found that he was still wandering in the outer area of the Divine City. The nearest ancient battlefield was about 2,000 light years away. Navigating from deep space takes less than half a day. Suddenly, a ray of light fell on the battleship, and Lin Moyu heard the voice of the Human Emperor Network. Advertisement. Are you done practicing? Lin Moyu was stunned for a moment. Renhuang Network actually interfered with reality. Renhuang Network rarely talks to people directly, and usually just sends a message. Now directly interfering with reality and talking to oneself, it is obviously something wrong. I was practicing before, and the Human Emperor Network did not disturb me. Now as soon as I finish my cultivation, the Human Emperor Network will come. Lin Moyu responded, "It's over for now, what can I do? Wu Xingzuan has something to do with you. Enter the Human Emperor Network." Lin Moyu's consciousness immediately entered the Renhuang Network. In the Renhuang Network, his consciousness appeared in a virtual starry sky. A war is breaking out in the starry sky, and the human army is fighting the enemy. This is? Lin Moyu could tell at a glance that it was the demon race that was fighting against the human race. Naturally, there can be no war in the Human Emperor Network. It can only be said that this picture is transmitted from reality. In reality, humans and demons are at war in 4.6. At this time, Wu Xingzuan's figure appeared in front of Lin Moyu. His expression was slightly serious. "Let me tell you something. All races formed an alliance and started a war with the human race." Lin Moyu rolled his eyes slightly. As expected, it is the right choice to strike first and start a war. Saint Hao looked at Lin Moyu. "Have you expected this?" Lin Moyu hummed, "Sooner or later, as long as we don't stop taking revenge, sooner or later they will go to war with us. I estimated before that if we wiped out another 3 or 5 small tribes, they would form an alliance and start a war with us. Now that we have destroyed the Bronze Lizard clan, I think the Pegasus clan should also be destroyed, so it is normal for them to start a war with us." The voice of the Human Emperor Network suddenly sounded. He is right. According to calculations, the probability of all races forming an alliance and going to war with us is more than 80%. Wu Xingzuan looked at Lin Moyu. "Tell me your thoughts in detail." Lin Moyu had long expected that once the human race took action, all races would soon realize that the human race would begin to take revenge. It would be fine if only 1 or 2 were moved, but if more were moved, all races would quickly form an alliance to fight against the human race. They may even want to repeat what happened 100,000 years ago and dream of entering the human race again. No matter what the human race chooses, as long as they want revenge, they must face an alliance between various races, and they can't distinguish themselves from those who are too late. If Lin Moyu was in charge of the whole thing, his approach would be different. After crippling the 3 silver tribes, he will take advantage of the fact that the soul-eating tribe's calamity is not over yet to kill another powerful tribe. Even if the human race has to pay some price, it is better than facing Kuhui's allies now. However, the saints did not tell Lin Moyu the detailed plans at that time, so Lin Moyu did not put forward his own ideas. Lin Mo said, "If what I think is correct, although the various races have formed an alliance, this alliance is only superficial for the time being, and it is actually very fragile. The alliance formed by various ethnic groups is just a show of force and will not truly defeat the Red District Doctor." Saint Hao nodded. "It's really just a show. They may still need time. The alliance between various races is a big deal, and dozens or hundreds of races form an alliance together. There are many things that need to be discussed, including the number of troops each will send, how to distribute the benefits, and where you fight and I fight. This needs to be discussed." Lin Moyu shook his head. "The time can be long or short, it depends on the reaction of our human race. Their main purpose is to suppress, so that we will not care about others and will not attack those small races again. Sage Hao felt that what Lin Moyu said was correct. There is indeed a possibility, but it is just such a restriction, and it doesn't actually do much use. Lin Moyu shook his head. Of course it works. How long has it been since the battle began? Where is Quan Quanchen in Shanxi? Saint Hao said, currently, it is mainly concentrated in the Suzaku Star territory and the associated Suzaku battlefield. The main force taking action is the Demon Clan, and there are some other small clans, but the pressure is not great. The gods are not on the field at the moment. The battle has been going on for about 3 months, and our online calendar challenges 2 categories. Lin Moyu thought for a moment. If I guess correctly, within a year, wars will start in several other star regions one after another, including the corresponding battlefields. Since we want to contain us, we naturally won't just control one star field. Let the practitioners in each battlefield be careful and come back as soon as you can. All races form an alliance, and all human races are enemies. Naturally, the human army is not afraid, but in the battlefields of all parties, it is very dangerous for human cultivators to act alone, and the whole world is the enemy. Lin Moyu continued, and the containment is only superficial. The pressure on the surface should not be too great, but if we dare to attack a certain clan again, they will send out a group of heavenly troops to force us to press back. At the same time, our resources on the battlefield can no longer be obtained, which will slow down the development of the race. Saint Hao agreed with Lin Moyu. How do you think we should deal with it? Several saints must have discussed the countermeasures, and Lin Moyu also expressed his own opinions. As for whether he would adopt them, DGXE was not sure. Lin Moyu thought for a few seconds before speaking. The first thing to do is to stop the practitioners on the battlefield from acting alone. However, they should not fail to act. They can form a team and act collectively. I think all races will form teams and act together. In this case, we don't need resources and just kill people. At the same time, cultivators in the star field can go to the battlefield, Human Emperor Network releases tasks, and Wonka starts Xinjiang medicine. If you cut off my resources, I will kill your people. As long as I kill you, your resources will become my resources. At worst, we will break up and no one will think about it. It is foreseeable that although the 4-sided battlefield is not the main battle area, it will become a surer field and become a wild place. Human cultivators can practice inside and gain a lot of practical experience. Saint Hao's eyes lit up. This is a good idea. Lin Moyu continued, the second thing is to find a way to get the Starry Sky Fishmen to renovate some warships for us. We can pay some price. It is estimated that after a while, the Starry Sky Area Doctor will no longer help us. Saint Hao frowned and immediately thought of why. Although the Starry Skyfish human race now has a good relationship with the human race, there is no eternal benefit in the world. Facing the coalition forces composed of various races, the Starry Skyfish people will inevitably choose neutrality and go to the hospital. Not only them, but also several other races will do the same. Now is the time to take sides. Lin Moyu said, the third thing is to inform several races that we have good relations with and let them choose. If they are willing to stand with us humans, they can move and let them live in the area. But I think most of them will choose neutrality, so remember to liquidate them in the future. Saint Hao frowned. Is this appropriate? Lin Moyu's tone also became serious. Let me tell you the truth. In the big world, the Dr. Gangster friend in our district is E. Lin Moyu knew that if he wanted to save the world, he must first cut off cause and effect. It is the cause and effect between various races and the big world. If he cannot cut it off, all his efforts will be in vain. If you want to cut off the cause and effect, there is only one way, and that is to sleep with the guest doctor. Fortunately, there are not many races that have good relations with the human race, only 3 or 5. The Starry Skyfish people are among them. Of course, there are also some neutral races. Some races, even if they do not participate in the war, still speak in Western medicine accents and they regard them as medical doctors. Among the 3 or 5 friendly races, except for the butterfly tribe, which has always been firmly on the side of the human race, the others were once neutral, and later became friends with the human race. Now Lin Moyu knew that they would definitely choose neutrality again. In the end, only aldehyde doctors are the only ones left. In fact, in his eyes, the starry skyfish people cannot be regarded as a separate clan, because they come from a certain deity and are not an alien race. Saint Hao wanted to say something else, but Lin Moyu interrupted him. "Senior, I know you have questions, but believe me, they can't live." Saint Hao seemed to realize something. "I understand." Lin Mo said, "The fourth thing is that our human race doesn't need to take action for the time being. At this point, it doesn't make sense to destroy 1 or 2 races. Let them think we are being restrained. This battle will last for a long time, maybe hundreds of years, but don't worry. We still have time. Just treat it as a large-scale training for the whole clan. I believe that the district doctors will become stronger and stronger during the war." Saint Hao said, "I understand what you mean. I will tell it to Saint Heaven and Saint War to see what they mean." Lin Moyu asked, "I just read the information on the Human Emperor Network. During the battle with the Tianma clan, did the Sword Saint take action?" Saint Hao knew what Lin Moyu wanted to ask. What he was asking was not the Sword Saint at all, but his sister Chen Mohan. Saint Hao said, "Your sister is very good. She is practicing with the Sword Saint. The Sword Saint has no secrets." The Sword Saint said that Lin Mohan is very suitable for swordsmanship, and she will be the sharpest sword in the human race in the future. Lin Mo said, "I never thought that she would become the sword of the human race. Even if she wants to charge, I can't suppress her in the West District. Take care of her. If something happened to her, I don't know what I would do." Saint Hao knew that the two had a close brother-sister relationship. "Don't worry, she will be fine." Lin Moyu didn't know if his suggestion was useful. He didn't think about it and let everything take its course. Having seen the broader sky, Lin Moyu already had his own set of ideas. It's actually very simple and doesn't require any strategy at all. He believed that as long as he reached the Holy Realm, the army of the undead would be vast and capable of healing. Unless there is a supreme being from each race, he will be unstoppable. Even if you have some background, it's still useless. The last word is to have a big fist. All kinds of plans are as fragile as paper in the face of absolute strength. After leaving the Human Emperor Network, Lin Moyu launched the battleship and headed to the nearest ancient battlefield. The battleship advanced silently in the deep space. Lin Moyu did not waste half a day and began to fine-tune the runes. All the runes he mastered needed to be fine-tuned, and every 3 runes were adjusted to the most perfect state. You can get the best results when you draw the runes later. Lin Moyu took the trouble to fine-tune each step. He knows that this is also a kind of accumulation, and every day in Europe is a verification of Zijifu's cultural corpse. While fine-tuning the runes, he did not forget to double-task and continue to refine the starlight to condense the stars. At this time, there are dozens of stars in the soul world. These stars are distributed throughout the soul world, shining with fused starlight, making the entire reaction world look like a real starry sky. Half a day later, the battleship emerged from deep space. Lin Moyu left the battleship and set foot on the Starlight Law Galaxy to complete the last part of the journey. Although navigation in deep space is fast, the disadvantage is that its accuracy is too poor. A difference of tens of millions of kilometers is normal, but when it is outrageous, the difference can be tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of kilometers. Fortunately, for me now, even if it is 100 million kilometers, it only takes a few seconds. The ancient battlefield was still silent. Lin Moyu stood above the battlefield and glanced over it. In the battlefield, there is an incomplete high-level pressure zone I. The appearance of each god's summer tower is 89% similar, and the tower is densely covered with runes. Not only the tower, but also the runes connected to the earth and the entire ancient battlefield. The ancient battlefield is actually a war weapon. After many years, Lin Moyu came again. His level had improved, and his understanding of runes was also very different from before. Looking at the past with today's eyes, we do see many different pictures. Some parts of the ancient battlefield used the technique of splitting runes, but it wasn't a lot of work. It really looks like the teacher's handiwork. Lin Moyu entered the ancient battlefield and quickly found the core of the battlefield from the gaps in the battlefield. The core has been destroyed and the ankle doesn't get much knotted. Lin Moyu was not in a hurry. He left the ancient battlefield and then flew towards the next ancient battlefield. In the Divine City Star territory, there are a total of 999 ancient battlefields. More than 700 of them are distributed in the primary area, and the remaining more than 300 are in the Johnson level and advanced areas. Lin Moyu planned to see more ancient battlefields and compare the formations. Each battlefield has different formation damage points and degrees of damage. If you compare more, you can restore the complete formation. At that time, the 4-star field competition, the formation that created the puppets and endowed them with spiritual wisdom, was brought to them by Feng Jianchen Chen Huantian. Later, Lin Moyu also obtained this formation, but found that it was of no great use. There are too many restrictions, and it is incomplete. In addition to the formation, Lin Moyu was more curious about Meng Anwen's Divine Summer Pagoda and the Western Medicine Field now here. What is the relationship between the two? Lin Moyu looked at the ancient battlefields one after another, from the primary area to the intermediate area and then to the advanced area. After looking at dozens of ancient battlefields, the medical officer assigned to the district duty station discovered them. This ancient battlefield located in the intermediate area, the formation was also completely destroyed. Only in this small area in front of Lin Moyu, some runes were still intact. Lin Moyu looked at the runes in front of him with extremely complex eyes. This is the time and place for medical treatment. This rune was also destroyed by half, but Lin Moyu still recognized it at a glance. It was the rune of the Law of Time. The Law of Time runes are generally rarely used in runes, unless the formation is related to time. After seeing so many ancient battlefields, Hua Moyu is already tired of understanding the purpose of battlefield doctors. The first is to absorb energy and create puppet warriors made of energy. The second is to give these puppets simple intelligence so that they can follow commands and fight. Now comes the third discovery: the Law of Time should be resolved. This formation is actually related to the Law of Time, which is completely beyond Lin Moyu's imagination. This talisman array is already quite complex and powerful. If the Law of Time is added to it, how powerful will it be? The Law of Time, what role does it play? Lin Moyu once felt that the timeline of the ancient battlefield was very confusing. The ancient battlefield seemed to be related to the ancient war. There was also a sentence left by Meng Anwen, which made him 100% sure that the ancient battlefield was related to Meng Anwen. Now that I see the time law runes, I think of the time and space calendar that once broke out outside the small world. Lin Moyu suddenly made a bold guess. Could it be said that the teacher traveled through time and space, stepped on the long river of time, and returned to ancient times? Lin Moyu felt that it was not impossible. He could have traveled from another world, and the river of time also existed, and the bed could be crossed. Other than that, he really couldn't think of how to explain what he saw in the ancient battlefield. In the final analysis, it's still because of lack of strength. Lin Moyu sighed softly and no longer struggled with this issue. The battleship enters deep space again and is about to embark on a long voyage. He wants to go outside the territory and go to the next inheritance place of Holy Talisman Tianzuan. Continue to fine-tune the runes, and at the same time continue to condense the starlight and gather the stars. Not only a two-pronged approach, Lin Moyu focused on three things. His soul also continued to draw runes, split them up, and combined them into talisman array. Along the way, his understanding of runes gradually deepened, and unknowingly, Lin Moyu felt that his realm was also improving. He felt that he could go to the Law Galaxy to take a further step, and becoming a god at the 3rd level would not be a problem. It's just that there hasn't been much progress in the laws of time and space, so he hasn't been able to improve his realm. My accumulation is deep enough. It seems that after this trip, I will have a good retreat. Lin Moyu felt that she was too busy and that Meijing would never be able to finish anything. The battleship was sailing and suddenly stopped. The deep space was blocked, and Lin Moyu realized, that he might have entered the territory of a certain race. At this time, all races formed an alliance and went to war with the human race. All races entered a wartime state, and the defense system was fully activated. Although some small tribes are weak, they also have complete defense systems. Once the defense is activated, deep space can also be blocked. The battleship emerged to the surface space, and Lin Moyu glanced at it. In that case, he did come to the territory of a foreign tribe. This star field belonged to a territory called the Blue Crane tribe. The characteristic of this race is that it is fast, somewhat similar to the Golden Eagle, but not as good as the Golden Eagle. They also invaded the human race back then, and were left in ruins after the war. They robbed a lot of things from the human race back then. These formations that can block deep space were what they robbed from the human race back then. They are very weak and do not even have the realm of the other side. There are quite a few deities that can be used for pressure. This place is very far away from the Demon Clan and the Golden Eagle Clan. Lin Moyu took out the formation plate for 2 people, with a cold look in his eyes. You're in bad luck. Lin Moyu put away the battleship and activated the 2 array discs in his hands. In an instant, the starry sky for hundreds of millions of miles was enveloped by invisible power, and the space was affected, becoming extremely solid, and was triple blocked. The first level is the airlocking formation created by the Qinghe clan themselves. The second level is Lin Moyu's airlocking formation, which is stronger. The third level is to cut off the communication means within the range covered by the formation. Even the deity can feel this kind of blockade, but Lin Moyu never thought of hiding himself, he just rushed in so openly. He used the 3 light talisman to increase his speed to 27 million kilometers per second, which was far faster than the God Lord and almost equal to the Demon Breaker. Under the space blockade, warships cannot sail from deep space, nor can they jump in blocked spaces. This reflects the difference between space laws and battleships. Battleships jump into space using space formations, which are relatively rigid. Although it is usually effortless to use, and the formation can continuously absorb energy from the starry sky, once it encounters a space blockade, it will be useless. Lin Moyu's own spatial laws can change along the space and adapt to the space at any time. In this way, no matter how your space is blocked, for the controller of the space law, it only takes a little time to overwhelm the stables. It only took Lin Moyu a few seconds to adapt to the space, and his figure disappeared into the starry sky. Galaxy of the Qinghe tribe appeared in front of us. It was located on the edge. In front of this military galaxy, there were troops stationed on the periphery of the galaxy. 557. At this time, the military was under martial law, and they felt an unusual space. Big blue cranes were suspended in the starry sky, lined up in an array, looking like they were ready to fight at any time. There are quite a few, as many as 100,000. At the front of the team are 3 warm shields. Giant blue crane wings that are dozens of meters wide are constantly inciting in the starry sky, and the fighting spirit is rising in them. It turns out there is a god. With the divine being present, Chen Mape knew that his behavior could not be hidden from his opponent. But so what? He came here so openly and never thought of hiding it. He is here to kill people, the kind that kills them all the way. Seeing Lin Moyu, the factory area was warmed by the 3 birds. Human race, 2nd level god, alone? They were a little puzzled as to how a 2nd level god had the guts to break in. Then they seemed to have thought of something, their expressions suddenly changed, and they shouted angrily, "It's the human race Lin Moyu, speedy." Upon hearing the 3 words Lin Mo said, Qinghe's army collapsed on the spot and turned around to run away. Even the three gods were like this, they were the fastest to escape. Lin Moyu couldn't help but laugh. Are I so tired of my fame? It's a bit too funny to scare the Qinghe army to collapse with just a name. They escaped, but could not escape. Lin Moyu tapped his finger, and the Hell of Bones appeared and enveloped the starry sky thousands of miles away, and the entire medical Qing army surrounded his ministers. The flames of hell erupted like a volcano, and the evil spirits of hell rushed out crazily, biting and devouring the Qinghe tribe. The blood flows into the river of hellfire. The river of hellfire flows more turbulently, and the flames on the river of fire burn more intensely. For a while, the screams could not be heard, and finally Fang Guixia was healed and died. The Bone Hell is simply the ultimate weapon against such a weak army. It only requires one spell, and Lin Moyu doesn't need to worry about it anymore. Even the third-level deity displayed his virtues under the bite of the evil sleeping spirit. Lin Moyu didn't look at the results. The results were already determined and meant nothing. He looked at the galaxy. This galaxy was very small, with only one star and 3 planets. One of them is a living planet, with many positive values. There are also 2 resource planets that provide the training needs of the soldiers stationed here. At this time, a large number of Qinghe clan soldiers were flying out of the living planet. They were startled by the loud roar of the god just now. It's too late to escape now. The Bone Hell did not let them go and enveloped the planet. The evil spirits from hell ate up all the people of the Qinghe tribe, leaving the planet intact. The planet is a resource and cannot be wasted. Every bit of the first bit in the Big World evolved from the power of the Big World runes. Since the Great World Rune was severely damaged, this evolution has stopped, and the destroyed resources cannot be regenerated. The more we fight, the fewer resources we have. Naturally, we cannot follow the enemy. Try my new talisman array. Lin Moyu took out a brand new talisman array from the treasure ship warehouse. It was the containment talisman array that he had previously mastered from the inheritance of the Holy Talisman Tianzuan and could accommodate all things. During this period of time, Lin Moyu drew many containment arrays, all of which were broken into the treasure ship warehouse. He took out one and activated it, and the containment talisman array spread out in the starry sky, covering a planet. The planet disappeared and was included in the talisman array. He can sense the planets in the talisman array. The space in the talisman array is huge. A planet only occupies a small space in it, and it can travel through the entire house without any problem. Not bad, not bad. Lin Moyu controlled the talisman array and packed away the other 2 planets and stars. In the blink of an eye, the galaxy disappeared. The magic of the talisman array is endless, and the way of runes is vast and boundless. Huan Silu has only scratched the surface. The battle ended quickly. Not only did no one escape, but even the information was blocked. In the Qinghe tribe, other galaxies have no idea what is happening here. Lin Moyu stepped on the Milky Way and used the starlight as a guide to go to the nearest galaxy. Lin Moyu felt like he was in a deserted place. In the Hell of Bones, there was no one left alive. Galaxies disappeared one after another, and Lin Moyu used the containment talisman array to pack up all the galaxies and take them away. He did a very thorough job of cutting off cause and effect. He wants to use his own way to save the world. Not only to save the world, but also to save myself, but also to save my relatives and friends, and to save the human race. There is no conflict between the other shores. Lin Moyu knew that in the eyes of many people, his method was cruel and not recognized. Even Saint Hao, who had a firm Taoist heart, frowned when he heard that he was either a friend or an enemy. But Saint Hao didn't stop him, because he knew that what Lin Moyu said was not wrong. And Lin Moyu's determination is even higher than that of the Holy Lord. As long as he believes in something, he will not change it easily. There is no other side realm in the Qinghe tribe, so no one can resist Lin Mame. Moreover, under the triple space lock, the Qinghe tribe in the distance did not know what was happening here. Lin Moyu never encountered any decent resistance along the way. The only thing I encountered was an 8th level god, but it was killed by the Legion ruler with a single blow, and its body was fed to the evil spirits of hell. After devouring a large amount of flesh and blood, the hell evil spirit became stronger again, but it was still some distance away from the 8th level of the deity. After reaching a high-level god, devouring lower-level creatures is no longer useful. It is best to devour creatures above high-level gods. It is foreseeable that the growth of Zitzi will become more and more rapid. After all, there are only a few high-level gods, and what the Bone Hell wants is not just one or two, but thousands. Lin Moyu was not in a hurry. He would have enough one day. 3 months later, Lin Moyu packed up another galaxy and put it into the treasure ship warehouse. Looking into the distance, the Blue Crane clan has a total of 120 galaxies, and 60 of them have been destroyed so far, which is half of them. Let's continue. The path Lin Moyu walked did not leave a single galaxy behind. It was extremely clean. This is truly where no grass grows. The process of drawing talismanic arrays is also the process of learning and mastering runes. Each talisman master needs to spend a lot of time becoming familiar with their own runes and talismanic arrays. Lin Moyu continuously drew containment talisman arrays along the way. Gradually, the containment talisman arrays became more and more perfect, and the degree of control also became quicker. From initially taking half an hour to draw one, to later only needing 10 minutes to complete one. However, 10 minutes is still too slow. In the first inheritance of the Saint Talisman Celestial, it was said that the ultimate state of a talisman master should be the thought arises, and 10,000 talismans are born. As long as the thought arises, the dense talismans should immediately suppress. But reaching this state is difficult. Even the Saint Talisman Celestial himself only touched upon this realm. For some simple runes, the Saint Talisman Celestial could achieve a thought arises, and 10,000 talismans are born, but for more complex runes, it was still not possible. According to him, this realm would be the strongest state for a talisman master, and if fully achieved, he might be able to advance further, making the suppression of dense talismans even more profound. A thought arises, and 10,000 talismans are born. This state is too far away. Lin Moyu does not want to think about it for now. He had seen the Talisman Saint once instantly deploy a talisman array, using a large number of runes. Previously, he thought that after reaching the Saint's level, he could instantly draw runes, but later he learned that it was not the case. Normally, the drawn runes are stored inside, and directly invoked when needed. Over several months, the speed of drawing containment talisman arrays not only increased, but their effects also became better, directly manifesting as the internal space becoming larger and larger. Containing entire star systems was not a problem. Even if some star systems had 10 stars, with incredibly huge stars, the containment talisman container could accommodate and contain them without issue. 7 months later, Lin Moyu left the star domain of the original Qinghe clan. The formation seal was removed, and the starry sky completely returned to normal. The warship sank into the deep space layers, continuing to fly stealthily. The star space that originally belonged to the Qinghe clan was quiet and immensely spacious. The entire star space fell into dead silence. Lin Moyu not only exterminated the entire Qinghe clan but also took away their planets altogether. At this moment, in the treasure ship's warehouse, hundreds of containment talisman arrays were shining brightly, each containment talisman array containing hundreds of star systems. A total of 121 star systems, with hundreds of planets of varying sizes. The Qinghe clan was gone, the people were gone, and their home was gone. Lin Moyu sat in the warship, with a hint of surprise on his face, and still pondered deeply. At the same time, he emitted a mysterious aura, an aura he had seen before, belonging to the enlightenment of the Tao. Just now, he had just experienced an enlightenment. Even Lin Moyu felt it strange. He clearly didn't do anything, but somehow, he went through an enlightenment. Until the enlightenment ended, he didn't know why. The enlightenment did not last long, only a day, but for Lin Moyu, the gain was immensely huge. Why? Lin Mou always liked to understand the ins and outs of everything, especially after understanding the cause and effect. He wanted to know why. Memories began to trace back, starting from before the Enlightenment occurred, not missing any detail or feeling. Mainly it was the feeling. Lin Mou was sure he didn't do anything. He just felt an inexplicable relaxation, a feeling as if a heavy burden had been lifted. But this feeling only lasted for a moment, not even half a second. Lin Mou murmured to himself, "Why did I feel as if a heavy burden was lifted? Could it be because of the prolonged battles, feeling extremely tired? It's not impossible. After killing so many along the way, feeling some fatigue is normal." Then, I felt a strange aura. Thinking back, it was as if something was gradually becoming clearer. Lin Mou's eyes suddenly lit up. He knew where that aura came from. It was the aura of the Great World Rune. He had felt a similar aura before. The Great World Rune had once descended a curse, preventing advancement. The Great World Rune descended, but this time it was not a curse, but a reward. Why reward me? Is it because of the Qinghe clan? That's right, it's because of that. Lin Mou finally understood. He had exterminated the Qinghe clan, which seemed like causing boundless slaughter, but for the Great World Rune, it was a good thing. The Great World Rune does not distinguish right from wrong, good or evil. It only differentiates between what is beneficial or harmful to it. Clearly, what he did was beneficial to the Great World Rune. The Great World Rune, now burdened with cause and effect, could not bear the weight, and the Qinghe clan was one of those burdens. He actually relieved it of its burden. The Great World Rune is fair. If you do something beneficial for it, naturally it would reward you. So he experienced enlightenment, undergoing what other cultivators could not imagine. Before entering the state of enlightenment, Lin Mou summoned the laws of time and space, the river of stars. After entering enlightenment, his vision fell into boundless void, beginning to comprehend the laws. A whole day of enlightenment, he gained great benefits, which he had never known before. The laws of time and space, the river of stars flowed endlessly before his eyes, with a wealth of insights flowing into his soul. The laws of time and space both steadily advanced during the process of enlightenment. Requesting flowers. When the control over both laws reached 20%, they began to merge. This time, the fusion was smooth, without the constant conflicts like before, even causing the cultivation room in the Divine City to explode. During the state of enlightenment, everything else was insignificant. Everyone wishes for enlightenment. A single enlightenment is worth hundreds or even thousands of years of cultivation. Many cultivators stuck at bottlenecks for their entire lives hope for an enlightenment to help them break through. Unfortunately, enlightenment is something that can be encountered but not sought. The vast majority of cultivators cannot even touch upon it. Lin Mou has already experienced enlightenment 3 times, enough to make anyone envious. As the laws of time and space advanced and completed their fusion, Lin Mou knew he could advance. He left the deep space, leaving the warship in the void. Here was a void. Within billions of miles, there was nothing. With a thought, the law of immortality river of stars appeared beneath his feet. The law of immortality river of stars, as Lin Mou's life law, was located closest to him. Below the law of immortality river of stars were the laws of time and space rivers of stars, side by side, with no distinction between higher or lower. The lowest was the starlight law river of stars, shining with a soft glow, illuminating the other 3 law rivers of stars, warming them. Lin Mou stepped forward, his physical body directly entering the law of immortality river of stars. The law of immortality transformed into huge waves rolling towards him, becoming calm when they touched Lin Mou. He was already a second-order divine sovereign, having walked the first 20% of the distance. Within this range, his cultivation was unimpeded. Moments later, he reached the position he had last stopped at, standing firm. This position had already completed about 20% of the law river of stars, also representing his own realm, second-order divine sovereign. Then he continued forward. The law waves suddenly became fierce, no longer calm, like huge hands slapping against Lin Mou, challenging his progress. Lin Mou paid no attention to the giant waves, continuing to step forward. The further he walked, the more intense the waves became. In the vast law river of stars, only Lin Mou was stepping forward, alone yet determined. Step by step, his purple gold body shone brightly. Lin Mou did not stop. Until he walked another 10%, he finally stopped again. His aura continuously rose, the law waves finally calmed down. I've advanced. Lin Mou let out a sigh of relief. Although it was all within expectations, he still felt joy. He was promoted from the second level of God to the third level of God. Lin Mou also didn't expect that by destroying the Qinghe clan, he could be promoted to a higher level. He recalled that when he destroyed the Bronze Lizard clan before, he had never received any reward. Now that I think about it, it was mainly because of the fact that the Grey Bronze Duan clan was the same person as him. At least the Bronze Lizard King was not killed by him, and the human god was also involved. In this big world, rewards are based on merit. Lin Mou raised a smile, and then tested his illegality a second time. The Skeleton God General has finally reached the high level of God. Even if he has just entered the high level of God, the emergence of the power of rules has greatly improved the Skeleton God General's combat power. The Death Dragon Knight reaches the 8th level of God. Under the control of the Legion ruler, the power of the Legion can be gathered to reach the 9th level of God. These changes were also expected by Lin Mou. The Skeleton King is still at the 9th level of the god, and is 390 more powerful than before, but he still cannot break through to the god. Looking at it now, Skeleton King can be regarded as almost half a step to the other side, and he is already very close to the real other side. Lin Mou was looking forward to the moment when the Skeleton King's strength reached the other side. The strength of the undead army was increasing, and Lin Mou was a little confused about the use of the Bone Law Galaxy owned by the undead army. At least so far, the Bone Law Galaxy has not played its due role. The Law of Bones? Lin Mou felt that it was far from his own law of immortality. After devouring a large number of the Blue Crane clan, the Skeleton Hell has now reached its limit, and the next promotion is not far away. Some other spells have been improved to varying degrees. Lin Mou tested his time and space laws again. The effect of the law of time has not changed much. Using it on yourself still only gives you twice the time. The laws of space have improved again, and Lin Mou can reach 40 million kilometers at every step, 10 million kilometers more than before. If the two laws of time and space are integrated, the effect of the space law can be doubled. Each step can reach 80 million kilometers, and each second can take 2 steps. Without using the 3-light talisman, Lin Mou's speed can reach 160 million kilometers per second, which is even faster than a god. If the 3-light talisman is used, it can reach 360 million kilometers per second. At this point, no matter how fast or slow the speed is, the difference is no longer very big. The important thing is that after the space law continues to improve, the door to space can be opened, and one can instantly travel back tens of thousands or even tens of thousands of years. There is also the power of time and space formed by the fusion of the laws of time and space, which can strangle the deity silently. That kind of power is extremely terrifying. But it's still early. Whether it's the laws of time or the laws of space, he is still just getting started and cannot aim too high. Re-enter the battleship and wander into the stars. More than 10 days after Lin Mou left, someone finally discovered something strange about the Qinghe clan. Soon people came to check and found that the Qinghe tribe had disappeared. Not only were the tribe members gone, but the stars were also gone. The starry sky that originally belonged to the Blue Crane clan is now empty, and it seems that people can get used to it. The mysterious disappearance of the Qinghe tribe soon spread throughout all tribes. Soon, various speculations emerged. Some people say that the Qinghe tribe fled and the Wu tribe fled. But this statement is not very credible. Why should the Qinghe tribe escape? There is no reason to escape. Now the alliance has just been completed, and there is only a brief exchange of fire with the human race, and there is no full-scale war at all. Moreover, it was not yet time for the Qinghe tribe to go to war, and they didn't know the outcome at all, so they wanted to flee. This speculation was immediately rejected. If the Qinghe tribe was wiped out by the human race is always under the surveillance of all tribes. It is not so easy to destroy a race. Especially wiping out a race without any news at all is not something that a flat face can do. Even if they didn't escape, it wasn't the human race who took action. It is really unbelievable that the Qinghe tribe disappeared so silently. Finally, a Baikajing who had not left his clan came to the territory known as Qinghe. There happens to be a magic weapon in the other side of the Maguang tribe that can trigger a trace of the law of time. Through the law of time, you can go back in time within a certain range and see what happened in the past. The other shore realm of the Maguang tribe used magic to see what happened in the two Qinghe tribe. Also coming with him were strong men from the other shore realm, the Golden Eagle tribe and the Demon tribe. They were also curious and confused about the Blue Crane tribe's disappearance for no reason. After the spell was cast, a huge light curtain appeared in the starry sky, and dots of panstars appeared in the light curtain. That was the starry sky of the Blue Crane clan. Lin Moyu suddenly opened his eyes and looked into the void. He felt that someone was spying on him, and the person spying on him came from a distant place. After sensing it carefully, I knew how the other party was spying on me. The law of time. As soon as my heart moved, the galaxy of the law of time appeared, and the power of the majestic law enveloped the whole body. 0 midline horizontal ellipsis midline horizontal ellipsis. To deal with the law of time, the best calendar is to use the law of time. Lin Moyu used the breath of the law of time galaxy to cover himself, completely disappearing into time and unable to be spied on. The strong man on the other side of the Maguang tribe suddenly groaned, and the magic weapon collapsed and exploded into pieces. Failed. The Maguang clan's other side realm expert trembled all over. His body is a big white tree with no expression, but it can be seen from the trembling tree body that he is very scared at this time. The strong man on the other side of the Golden Eagle clan asked, "What happened?" The Maguang tribe's voice trembled. Kaiwan is proficient in the law of time. Several other people present looked shocked, and someone immediately asked, "Is there a mistake? How could anyone understand the law of time?" The strong man from the Maguang clan shook the tree. "There is no mistake. The other party did use the law of time to crack my magic weapon." After receiving a positive answer, there was a roar of crows in the air. The laws of time are among the top terrifying laws in the first echelon. I have never heard of anyone who can understand the law of time. The laws of space do exist. The starry skyfish men have inherited the laws of space, but the laws of time have never been heard of. How terrifying it would be if there were really strong people who understood the law of time. Reversing time, accelerating and slowing down time are all shocking abilities just thinking about them. The strong man from the Demon clan asked, "Is it possible that he is a strong man from outside the territory?" In ancient times, there should be someone who believed in the law of time. The strong man from the Golden Eagle clan asked, 2.0 You mean, there are strong men from ancient times who have been sleeping until now and are just waking up now? It's not impossible. I don't think it's possible, and even if it is possible, why would you want to smoke someone from the Crane clan? That's right, why did he only attack the Qinghe tribe, and how did he do it so cleanly, not even leaving a single planet behind? I heard that there is a huge tomb outside the territory, and countless ancient powerful people are buried in it. Wherever it passes, there will be no grass. I've also heard that there is such a huge tomb, which is called Bingchen Tiangue. If it is really the legendary sky burial tomb, it is impossible that there is not even a trace of it. It is said that the sky burial tomb is so huge that it may swallow up the Qinghe tribe. Don't talk nonsense. No matter how big the sky burial tomb is, it's impossible for the West to swallow up the Qinghe clan, which has hundreds of galaxies. Everyone on the other side had a lot of comments in the early morning. They all had their own opinions, but none of them were sure.